Good morning, everyone. Just wanted to get on and do a reading. The last few nights, I've slept really good, but I have been dreaming. Oh my goodness, have I been dreaming? Very active dreams. So this morning I woke up and just wanted to I sat down first and did my writing like I normally do, and then just wanted to pull a reading, and uh, this came out, and it's honestly a story I needed to hear too, but I know sometimes the collective needs to hear it. It won't be for everyone. This one is going to be for specific people and energies that are going through similar things. This is basically about a past relationship and what it put you through, what you went through, and things that are to come from that. So if you're not if you don't have questions about a past relationship or uh, anything like that, then you won't want to tune into this reading. You can just wait for the next one, or go connect with someone else that might be tapped more into your energy. So you can still listen, but don't try to make it fit. If it doesn't fit, just listen to it as a story, um, and then just take what you need from it. If it resonates, great. If it don't, it doesn't have to. So, all right. I'm going to start with the written message. You spent so much time alone. You spent so much time in a state of heartache, in a state of unfulfillment. You are not someone to give your heart lightly, but you realized after a time that you had given your heart to the wrong person. In the beginning, this person mirrored you, and that is why you were deceived. Your heart was in the right place when you began to develop those feelings, or at least you felt that it was. But in actuality, you were so damaged from traumas that you had been through that you were an easy target. They saw you as naive. They saw you as something to play with, not knowing the power that you really had. As much as they were a test to you, you were a test to them. As you fell out of love with them and into love with yourself, they actually fell in love with you. They had never experienced real love before, so it was foreign to them and made them uncomfortable. It is why they pushed you away. They would then feel the absence of your energy and they would try to pull you back in. They tried to play the games with you that they had played their whole lives with others, but it didn't work with you. It made you withdraw into yourself and your healing journey began. Now they realize what they've done and they are lost and heartbroken without you, and you finally have your freedom from the heartbreak while they are consumed with it. That's the message that came through. This person you thought was your emperor was actually in reverse. They may have come across as everything that you were looking for. They may have come across as having a similar heart as yours, and you had already been through some traumas and heartache, so you observed them first, and you were you felt like you were being cautious, but you were already smitten when you first met them. They had a charm that drew you in, but they came across as a loving and kind person from what you could see of them, and so you were totally caught off guard when they actually stabbed you in the back repeatedly. They made you feel so many different heartaches and heartbreaks while you were with them. You had the swords in your back the whole time, and you didn't realize that it was actually coming from this person. You thought it was coming from other people that you guys were involved with. Um, but the whole time that person was involved in it as well. They saw you as an answer to their prayers. They saw you as someone uh, that was a bright light, someone that got along with other people, that brought in resources and things that they could use. And they saw you as someone who was abundant, someone who had a lot of friends, someone who was social, someone that had skills that they didn't have. Um, and they wanted to use those resources, and they did, and they put you in bondage. And in the end of it, they had you so twisted up you couldn't even trust your own intuition anymore. Uh, you were you're someone who's always been able to rely on that inner guidance, that little still small voice, but they made you doubt that to the point um, you just you just went through so much heartache over this person, and the whole time they were trying to act like they were on your side and they loved you and they were supporting you, but you weren't getting the things that you needed emotionally from them. You were getting maybe financial support from them. You're maybe getting breadcrumbs of emotion from them, but it was just enough to keep you around. It wasn't enough to sustain anything. And by putting you in this state, they forced you honestly to go inward. If you see she's bound up, she's got her swords out, but she's blindfolded. You didn't even know who you were fighting in the moment. You had all these things coming at you from all different directions, and they used that. They used the confusion to mask what they were really doing and what they were really up to. Um, you just assumed that they had the same heart as you. You assumed that they were wanting to build the things that you were wanting to build, but in actuality, they were very selfish. They were very self-centered, and they were only using you and your resources to build for themselves. That's why it could never gain ground. That's why it could never fulfill what you needed it to fulfill, because they were not genuinely doing what they said they were going to do with you. And unfortunately, everything fell apart, and you had to walk away. All the cups were spilled, and it left them alone. And all the feelings and emotions and things that they had put you through during that relationship, they're now dealing with. They never expected that. They didn't really expect to develop true feelings for you. In the beginning, they saw you as a good time. They saw all the good things that you had going in your life, and they were jealous of that, and they wanted to covet that, and they wanted to grab hold of that. But it was never about you. It was about the benefits of you. And so when you took away all your energy and all your power and you withdrew into yourself, it left them in destitution, left them alone. As you are the queen, you got back on your throne. You're like, I'm not going to deal with this with you. I will not. And you took your power back. And that was the best thing that you ever did. You need to stand in that and not doubt that at all, because they still see you as their ace of pentacles, but it's not accessible to them anymore. That's why this card's in reverse. You are not accessible to them anymore. You cut them out completely. Um, you totally withdrew your power from them. You withdrew your energy, and that has left them to do nothing but sit and reflect and do all the things that you had to do when they left you alone, when they made you go inside yourself, when they forced your head to be crazy because they weren't giving you what they needed, what you needed, when they were breadcrumbing you, when they were playing their games with you. All those feelings and emotions that you felt, that's what's coming on them now. That's what they're feeling. They know that you hold all the cups. They know that you have all the resources and all the tools. They know that you have done all this inner work, and they see all that, and they still don't get it though. They don't understand that if they want all of this, they've got to do the work too. They've got to go inside themselves and heal whatever it is that was broken that made them do what they did to you. Um, I don't think they intentionally set out to hurt you. I think that they just saw you as a really bright light. They saw that you had things in common. They saw that they could build with you. They just didn't do it with love. They did it with materialism and material gain in mind instead of love and devotion and emotions. They didn't realize that all of this could come from just building together and growing together and learning together. They were so damaged from their past, from their childhood on, that they thought that they had to play these games with you. And their past relationships, that's something you need to know too. They've never been in a relationship like they had with you. They had always had the games played on them and the, you know, unloyal relationships. So they expected that from you. And so they played their games with you and not realizing that they were throwing away something that was really valuable and that they should have cherished until it was too late. They ended up alone and they're still trying to build and they don't have the resources or the connections that you have. And so they're just literally pushing a boulder up a hill by themselves right now. But they're recognizing that. They realize that they've really screwed up and they want to be the king again. They want to be that person that you saw them as and what you recognize that they could be. Um, just being honest with you though, they don't know how to get there. They have no clue what to do. They need your guidance if you're willing to give it to them. Um, and that's the hardest part is you still have feelings for them and you can't let that get in the way. You have to totally withdraw all of your emotion out of the situation and recognize that the only way to help this person is to be brutally honest with them. You can't sugarcoat it and you can't let your emotions that you used to feel for this person pull you back into anything. You've got to recognize where they are on the path. Um, and decide if it's worth your effort to help them at all. But you need to understand that you're not helping them so that you could be in a relationship with them. You're actually helping them as a soul to a soul to help them in their growth and their ascension. And you already have done that. Like when you met this person, they had no clue about spirituality or about spiritual growth or uh, they had no inner accountability. They had always had to do things a certain way, and so that's the way it was, and they didn't recognize that they were doing things wrong. They didn't understand that their manipulations actually hurt people until when they saw the results of what they did to you, when they saw that you went inward and the way you handled it though, you didn't become vindictive, you didn't become spiteful, you didn't try to hurt them. You just literally went into self-protective mode and started working on yourself. And they had never they had never been involved with somebody like that. The only people that they had been involved with were toxic people, so they were used to all the toxic games and the lying and the manipulating and the all these horrible things that you witness um, through other people around them. You recognize that you were drawing toxicity because you were still toxic. So you started healing and you started withdrawing from all of that. And you didn't realize at the time how that was affecting them, that they were watching you. And while you were going through all that heartache and being alone and all that, they were actually going through their own traumas and things with people because they had not learned those lessons. So they were still trying to make things work with people that they should have never been involved with to begin with. So they've got a long way to go if they want to get back on that throne. And it may never happen with you. 'Cause you're all up in your head over this. You've dealt with so much pain and heartache and misery because you actually did love this person. You cared so much for this person and you only wanted good things. You saw what it could have been. They should have been your King of Cups. But if you look in his eyes, he's just like, he doesn't trust. He's looking all side-eyed. He doesn't trust. And you need to understand, he really did love you in his own broken way. He still does. Um, he sees you as his queen. Now that it's too late, now that he's totally destroyed and shattered what you guys had together, he sees you as the queen. Um, It's because of the way you handled yourself, though. If you would have went chasing after him, if you would have groveled and begged and really expressed how you felt on the inside, he would have ran. He would have and he would have not considered you at all. But it's how you handled it. You pulled away and you protected yourself, and you didn't chase him. And he's never had that. He's always had people chasing after him. He's always had people that he could manipulate, and he couldn't manipulate you. And that's the first time that's ever happened to him. So what you need to do now is you need to step back and just really be in your power. If you've truly healed to the extent that you have, then you're going to be able to handle him coming at you again, because he's getting ready to. He's gearing up for that. He realizes that he's lost you, and he doesn't want that. He knows that since you've been gone, all the light has left his life. I know that's a cliche song, but it's the truth. There's no joy in his life now, and he wants that back desperately. But you need to know he has not changed at all, as far as being able to connect with you on the level that you need to be connected on. He has not grown spiritually, to the degree that you would need him to grow into to be in a relationship with you. So it will always be that you'll be a step ahead of him, and you don't need to settle, because you are a queen, you are an empress, you have done all this inner work, you have done what it takes to rebuild your life. So you don't ever need to let anybody come into your life again and take away from you. If they're not bringing things to you, then you don't need to be in a relationship. You can give guidance to this person. You can give closure to this person. I know that you completely cut them off because you had to, in that moment, but you've really done this healing and this growth, and it's not that you're responsible for this person. You're not at all. But if you want to add to your glory, then you can be brutally honest with this person. And I don't mean be mean, but when I say brutally honest, I mean you can, um, in a very calm manner, keep your emotions. Don't let this person trigger you, because when you do that, you're giving your power away. But you can let this person know what the relationship was for you and how it affected you. And you can let this person, uh, you can help guide this person into reflecting more on themselves. And, it's up to them whether they grow from it or not. It's up to them whether they actually learn the lesson, and, uh, they don't repeat cycles. That's all on them. But what you can do is give them more insight and help propel that so that they don't do this to another person. And that's totally up to you if you want to get involved to that point or not. You can keep them blocked. You can keep them completely out of your life. And like I said, you're not responsible for them. But if that person ever meant anything to you, if you felt that there was some true connection there, even though they fought it, even though they played their games, if you felt that, then it's worth letting that person know how you felt in the moments, and um, maybe even restoring some type of friendship. But if you do that, just keep that person at arm's length. Do not let that person all the way back in, because they are still a fool on the spiritual path. They're still at the beginning stages of their spiritual path, their spiritual growth. They are a very young soul, where you're a very old soul. They don't have the experience that you do. And if you let them, they will hurt you again. So it's a very fine line there. And I can't tell you what you need to do. I can tell you I'm in my own situation with these, because, it's the collective reading. Uh, I'm in my own situation with this. I can feel all these energies happening and playing out in the background. And I know where I'm at on my path, and that I can never be involved with a person I was involved with ever again, because they hurt me to the point that I just can't go there again with them. But I also know that that person's not all bad. I know I saw their inner child and all the wounding that came from their childhood, and um, traumas that they went through as an adult. And I'm not excusing their behavior at all. but I understand and recognize why they are the way they are. And I am willing to help them with their soul growth because I do still care about that person, but I'm not willing to ever give my heart to that person again because I'm the type, when I give you my heart, I don't give it lightly. And if I do give you my heart and you destroy it, that's it with me. There is no going back. So, um, I was in a 24-year marriage and I went through absolute hell with that person until I got to the point I couldn't do it anymore. And then once I was done and there was no going back. So that's who I am. I just can't repeat after I know, I just can't do it anymore. So I have struggled with these things myself, um, because I am a very caring person. I'm a loving person and I don't want to hurt anyone the way I've been hurt, but I also know that I did not create this situation, so I have to let that person have their own karma and play that out. That's another thing too. You do not want to get involved in this person's karma. And if you're not careful, you will be because you are such a caring, kind, loyal person. And if you let them, they will run game on you again because they can't help themselves. That's just that at this point is who they are. It's who they have developed into. And so it's their instinct. They are having to literally go against who they are to try to come up to your level, to try to grow and, and, and fix what's wrong inside of them. So you need to understand that and recognize that. And once you do, it gives you a power and empowerment. Um, Once you realize that you do not have to be involved with that person to care about them, you don't have to give your heart away to them ever again, but you can help them along a spiritual path. You can be the bigger person, But like I said, that's totally up to you. But that was the reading from the Rider Waite and from my uh sorry, my brain, my ancestral path tarot. I use those for the that reading, but I also wanted to pull some cards to give you a little more clarification and meaning. Um, this person is going to try to reach out to you. You may have them blocked on every level that you can, but they're very resourceful. They're going to figure out a way to connect with you again. And they're going to make it seem like they're doing that because they really love you and they can't live without you and all these things. But you need to understand they're doing that because they're desperate. They're doing that because they have lost the light out of their life. They still don't get the connection that you had with them. They still don't understand it because they've never had it before. And they don't know how to cherish it. It scares the hell out of them, just to be honest with you. So whether they mean to or not, they're still going to play a game with you if you let them. But they're gonna connect with you again. They're gonna hunt you down. They're gonna find you. They're gonna try to reconnect with you, and then it's gonna be totally up to you how you respond and how you deal with it. But this is one card I felt like was really good advice. It's the Owl card, and you probably can't read it. It's a little blurry, so I'm going to read it to you. It says, you are being encouraged to look beyond deceiving appearances into the true reality of a situation or a person's motives. You need to hear what is really being said despite the words and emotions coming from the messenger. And I feel like they're going to act like they're in a much better place than what they are because they do not want to give their power away to you. They know that you hold all the cards, so they, they know what you are in their lives now as far as the material aspects of it. They know what you brought to the table and they respect you to a degree that they can. They admire you to a degree that they can. But you got to understand that they are a damaged, broken individual that has literally done no inner work. Um, they're still in the it's everybody else's fault mode. And they've got a little bit of accountability now. They're starting to understand that, but if you get back into it, if you just let them off the hook, then they're not going to learn from that. So, and I'm not saying be mean to them. I'm not saying torture them or any of those things or lose your Kool-Aid on them. I'm saying stand your ground and be firm about it. Let them know how they hurt you. Let them know how you really felt and listen to what they have to say, but take it with a grain of salt. They're not in a good place right now. They don't have the things that they're going to try to present to you that they do. They're not in a good financial situation. They're not in a good mental place right now. They're actually coming at you because they're desperate. And no matter how they try to portray themselves, know that it's not completely honest. And if you know that ahead of time, then you can control your own self and your own emotions and not get involved in that uh, any further than what you really want to. This is the animal spirit deck, by the way. I drew 3 cards from that. The next one is the Jaguar, and it says growth. Maturity is the ability to embrace change, and change cannot happen without death. This death does not necessarily mean physical death, but could be the ending of a relationship, a situationship, or simply a situation. I say situationship too, or simply your decision to not continue with the same old habits. So yeah, if you let this person fall back into your life, they would do it in a heartbeat. They would go right back to the way things used to be, and you would get caught right back up in that cycle. But you're not meant to do that. You've come too far, you've learned too much, you've grown too much, and even if this person plays on your heartstrings, you're gonna recognize it for what it is. It's not the love that you deserve. It is not the spiritual uh, the fulfillment. It's none of those things for you. It will still be chaos and turmoil. So you're not supposed to get involved with that again. But this person is connecting with you again for a reason, and it's to see how far you've come so that you can stand in your power and you can tell this person the brutally honest, God's honest truth. And then they have to go back and do what they're going to do with that. They can ignore it. They can turn it all back around on you, and they can go do what they've always done and still live the life they've always lived. And they'll go right back into the addictions and the toxicity and all the bad relationships, and they'll live that way the rest of their life. Or they can take what you say and they can actually learn from it. They can go inward and do all the work that you've had to do. That's why this has happened. That's why you came into their life. As much as a lesson as they were for you, you were a lesson to them. And they'll either get it or they won't. But you are not supposed to get involved in their karma. You've got your own karma to deal with. And right now, because you've done so much work and you've been through so much heartache, your karma is now turning into dharma. And so you want to keep going that way. You're going to start getting all the good relationships now. You're going to meet people that are on your level spiritually and mentally and emotionally, and they're going to give to you as much as you give to them. And this is friendships. It's not all, relationships that are sexual and all that stuff. This is actually platonic relationships. You're already starting to see that in your life. You're having people that just want to show you love and support and kindness, and you haven't had that for a very long time. So don't let this person come back in and mess all that up for you. You don't need to do that. Um, but it is coming down to the point where you need to have this last conversation with them, this brutally honest conversation. And you need to be honest with yourself as much as you're honest with them. And the last card of the animal spirit deck is the fox. It says opportunities. You must be quick to move out of your comfort zone, especially when the situation calls for immediate responsiveness and flexibility. Open your mind to new ways of doing things. Once you do, get ready for good luck and opportunities to come your way. And yeah, you've got to get to where you are ready to receive all that, and know that you deserve it. You have literally been through hell with your past and people and things and situations, and you have learned so much and grown so much from that, and you didn't let it destroy you, and you didn't let it turn you into a cynical, cold person like some of these other people are. You have kept your heart through all of this. And so you need to know that Spirit is going to reward you for that. We came here to learn. We came here to grow. And unfortunately, it's not all rainbow and sunshine. To learn the hard lessons, sometimes we have to go through hell. And to get built into that strong person, we have to go through hell. So you've had all that. You've dealt with all that, and you've come out on the other side. So give yourself props for that. Love yourself. Give yourself extra love for that, and know that you deserve it. All these good things that are getting ready to come into your world, you deserve it. But this past person is like the final test, the final step. And it's how you handle it, how you handle when they come back into your world and they try again. Um, Are you going to be a person that acts with kindness and respect, but is like, nope, I'm going to hold my firm boundaries? Are you going to get triggered and just go off on this person, and reblock them and kick them out of your life? How are you going to handle it? And that will also show you how far you've come along on your path. If you can handle it with grace, if you can lovingly and kindly tell this person, I'm sorry, but I can never be with you again, and this is why. This is what you did. This is what I did. I accept my accountability in all of this. And yeah, they're going to try to argue with you. They're going to try to do their thing like they've always done and manipulate it back around where it's all on you. And this is where you have to stand firm and hold your boundaries and say, I'm sorry that you feel that way, but this is how I feel. And we need to agree to disagree, and you need to go on your way and I'll go on my way. However it plays out, just stand firm in your power and know that you've got this. Know that you have done all this work and been through all these things for a reason, and you are a warrior now. You are so strong, and don't let anyone tear you down ever again, because you have all these amazing things that are just right around the corner waiting for you. You just have to believe it, and you have to know that you're worth it, and you have to be willing to receive it. That's sometimes the hardest thing in this life, is learning to receive. We are so used to chaos. We are so used to things being taken away. We're so used to turmoil and all these things that when we finally get into that sweet spot where everything's calm and everything's okay and all the bills are paid and all the things are good, we're like, okay, what's going to happen next? When's the other shoe going to drop? And we don't want to live our lives that way anymore. It's time to go to the age of Aquarius. It's time to step into our light body being. And we can't do that if we're holding on to negative thought processes, if we're holding on to feelings of deserving bad things. We don't deserve that. So you do not deserve that. You deserve the good things that are coming. So get ready for that. Then I've got three of the Spirit Oracle cards. Some of us are still going through some things right now. It's literally clearing out the past. It's getting rid of all those old cycles and all those old energies. And so we're still going through some things. There's still things that are clearing out of our reality and things that are going to come back in to replace those things. So you may feel like you're in a state of lack right now. You may feel like you're not where you want to be, and that's okay. Um, Good things don't happen overnight. It's a process. So just know that you're in the middle of all that. You're in a process. And the card says those difficult times will pass. Nothing bad lasts forever. The sun will shine again. The birds will sing. The clouds will clear. And you will be glad you kept moving forward. You will soon be rewarded for your patience. Hold on. You are far stronger than you think. And so that goes right along with the message I was already saying. And I glanced at these cards, but I didn't really read them. I always pull the cards, start reading the story, and go from there. So by the time I start the story, I've already forgotten the cards that I pulled. So when I'm saying these things and then the card just comes out and affirms it, it's just part of the message. And it's so amazing to me when that happens. The next card says, you are doing your best, and that is enough. Any difficulties you face will not last forever. Release the thoughts and feelings that don't feel good. Focus all your energy on love, happiness, and your hopes and your dreams. And then this one really resonated for me because I do remember this. It was the last card I pulled. Um, you are feeling somewhat confused by the events that are unfolding around you and the various seemingly contradictory information that are coming your way. Trust your instincts and do what they are telling you to do, and you will learn a lot about yourself and the direction you want your life to take. I've had some very mixed messages coming through. I'm very empathic and very intuitive, and I usually know when things are going to happen. I don't always know the exact thing that's going to happen, but I know when things are going to change, and I can just feel things, and I have felt that there's a huge change coming. I just don't know which direction I'm supposed to go because, like, I'm sitting here with my vehicle broken down, no way to fix it. Just found out it's going to cost more to fix than what it's actually worth. So I need to get rid of it. And I'm sitting here in a very comfortable place, but I feel like I'm not on my path. I'm like, I've got to get out there. I've got to get where I'm talking to people and doing things like I know what I'm supposed to be doing and I'm not doing it right now. But I'm also in this place where I really am working on my growth and my healing, and I'm coming to a place of calm. I'm coming to a place of peace that I have never had in my life. Like I have had such turmoil my whole life. I was raised in a with an abusive, narcissistic father, like in your face narcissist, my way or the highway, who was mentally and physically abusive. And I was in a marriage, my first marriage, with a guy that was the covert, charming narcissist and who also had drug and alcohol problems and just made our life, every time we would get to a place where we were okay, then chaos would break out with him and he would just destroy everything, and I put up with that for 24 years before I finally just couldn't do it anymore. And I didn't take that lightly when I ended my marriage because I was such a committed person, a loyal person, and I wanted it to work. I didn't want to be married 24 years and have it end. And I wasn't perfect in the relationship. I did things and I was a very traumatized, broken person. And so, I take my accountability for that now. And I really went in and started doing a lot of inner work after that relationship ended. And that started me on my healing journey of getting off all the medicines and cleaning up my diet and cleaning myself up spiritually. And then I was single for 3 years. I didn't just jump back into a relationship because I wanted an intentional relationship. I didn't want to be in just any relationship. And so I met a person that I thought was on my path, but was actually just mirroring me because they saw the good things that I brought to the table. And I had to go through all that lesson. But the reason I drew that relationship is I had not completely done the healing that I thought I had done. I was still in a state of lack. I was still in a state of wanting and needing that external validation. And I drew someone that was broken and damaged like me. And I had to learn more lessons. And now I'm at a place in my life where I have done all this inner work and I've done all this healing. I'm totally happy with myself. I'm totally reconciled and I'm at peace. And I'm in a place where I'm safe. I'm in a place that I'm not the happiest with the weather and all these things, but I look around and I see what's going on in the rest of the United States, and where I'm at right now, it seems like a little protected area. And I'm so grateful for that. And I am learning to just be and just allow and go with the flow, and that I don't have to be doing this and I don't have to be doing that. When it's time, when it's the right time, all that's going to flow and come into place. So getting to that state in our minds where we are happy with our present, where we're living in the now. We're not living in the future, we're not living in the past, but we're living in the now. That's one of the hardest things to accomplish. But once you get there, then things can flow into your life and you just have to learn to receive it, that it's going to be okay. I know that I've got something that's going to come through, that I'm going to be able to get the camper van that I'm wanting, and then I'll be able to start on this journey. I've got other things in the works that's going to propel me along. I've just got to let it all play out and let the timing hit when it's right. And I can't force anything anymore. I used to force so many things. I was a type A personality, I had to make it happen. And that's how I got myself into so many situations and so much trouble. I got so far and I accomplished so many things, but it all fell apart. And it was because it wasn't the right timing. It wasn't the right people. It wasn't the right place. So, and all that's going to cycle back around when it is the right time and the right place and the right people. So anyway, just learning to be at peace with yourself is the hardest thing. And if you're stuck in a situation, if you feel like you're stuck, you're not really stuck. You're being held there for your own protection. And you're actually in a place that you can actually go inward and do the healing that you need to do. So get out of your crazy, just breathe, go out into nature and just breathe and ask God, what do you want me to do? And the answer will come to you eventually. If you just quiet your mind and quiet out all the chaos. And if you're still in those toxic relationships, you've got to get out of it. You know that it's not for your greater good. You know that every day that you let pass you by is another day you've lost to this, and you'll never get it back. So stop doing that. Stop wasting your energy. Stop trying to make something into something it's never going to be. You're pushing a rock up a boulder, and eventually that rock is still going to roll down on you. You're not ever going to get it all the way to the top and over on the other side. So The only way that you can do that is to go inward and do your own inner work and your own inner healing. And if that person is supposed to be in your life, they're going to do the same exact thing. And if they don't, they're not supposed to be in your life anymore. If you keep holding on to them, you're going to literally force the tower moment that you don't have to experience. You, we put ourselves through these things and then we blame an external source. It's not anyone else but you. You know, you can't blame anyone else for your life but you. When you get down to the end of it and you got all these regrets, it's on you. It's not on any other person. It's on you. So that's the message today. Not sure who needed to hear it. If you're coming in at the end, you'll want to rewind and listen to all of it. Take what you need, leave the rest. Know that I love you. I'm going through things on my own. I don't put it all out there on Facebook, but I'm going through some things too. Um, we all are. It's a collective shift that's coming. We are all going in. You're either going to go into the next level, which is elevating up, or you're going to get stuck in what I call the revelation timeline, or you're not going to be on this plane anymore. There's choices right now. There's a door for you to walk through. You just got to walk through it, you know? Make up your mind what you're going to do and do it, and God will be there for you. Spirit, whatever you want to call that external higher power, they're there for you. You just got to ask. But I love you, and I hope you have a blessed day. Namaste.